When kingship descended from heaven, it was in Eridu. This opening line of the Sumerian King List, carved over 4 millennia ago, echoes from a memory far more ancient. It is a short phrase that contains an entire cosmology. For the scribes of Sumer, kingship was not a political development, it was a sacred force, a divine thread connecting the heavens to the earth. To rule was to be chosen by higher powers, to become the embodiment of cosmic order on the terrestrial plane. The words descended from heaven are laden with enduring mystery. Were they meant as a metaphor for divine inspiration, or did they hint at a more literal truth? Did they suggest that beings from the sky brought with them the very blueprint for organized society? The stage for this momentous event was Eridu, revered as the first city. Archaeologists have located its ruins in the southern marshes of Mesopotamia, a site that once touched the waters of the Persian Gulf. To the Sumerians, Eridu was no ordinary settlement. It was the abode of Enki, the god of wisdom, magic, and the fresh waters, the very wellspring of civilization. Its temples, constructed layer upon layer over millennia, date back to 5400 BCE, as if each generation sought to rebuild and maintain the axis linking the human world with the divine. The King List records that when kingship first descended, Alulim was chosen as its first vessel. He was not elected by men, nor did he rise to power through strength of arms. He was appointed, singled out to bear the seal of heavenly authority. His reign is given as 28,800 years, 8 full sars in the sacred mathematics of Sumer. This concept of bestowed kingship marks a profound schism between modern historical explanation and ancient remembrance. Contemporary historians describe kingship as an emergent phenomenon, evolving slowly from tribal councils and chieftains as societies grew in complexity. But the Sumerian tablets tell a different story. Kingship was delivered, fully formed, from above. Civilization, in this memory, was not a gradual invention, but a sudden intervention. This distinction is critical. If kingship was a natural human development, our history is one of incremental progress. If it was bestowed, our history may have begun with contact, with outside hands actively shaping our destiny. Some interpreters see from heaven as beautiful mythic poetry. Others, like Sitchin, took it as a factual report. In his view, the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came, established rulership on earth. From this perspective, Alulim and his successors were not ordinary humans, but hybrids or direct representatives of these visitors, their vast reigns reflecting a non-human origin. Eridu itself seems to whisper of this mystery. Excavations reveal a startling leap in sophistication. Its earliest temple, over 7,000 years old, shows careful design and precise alignment. There is no evidence of crude, experimental beginnings. Instead, civilization appears to spring forth fully realized, as if delivered whole. Why did writing, mathematics, monumental architecture, and kingship emerge in Mesopotamia with such apparent suddenness? The King List provides a blunt answer: because they came from heaven. For the people of Sumer, this belief provided order in a chaotic and unforgiving world. Their lives were precarious, suspended between devastating floods and relentless droughts, between fertile river and barren desert. But their cosmology provided an anchor. Their kingship was eternal, rooted not in the fallible will of men, but in the immutable decrees of heaven. Every cigarette was a stairway to the gods, every coronation a reenactment of that first descent. The subsequent transfer of kingship from Eridu to Bad Tibira, to Larak, to Sippar, and to Shuruppak, was not seen as the result of human conflict, but as the deliberate movement of divine favor from one city to the next. This idea resonates far beyond the Tigris and Euphrates. In Egypt, the pharaoh was the living son of Ra. In China, the emperor ruled by the mandate of heaven. In the Bible, kings were chosen and anointed by God. Across civilizations, the same fundamental claim emerges: rulers do not govern by chance, but by celestial right. Therefore, when we read "when kingship descended from heaven," we are not merely encountering poetic language. We are touching a root of a global pattern, a deep-seated belief that authority was conferred, not invented. And if the Anunnaki hypothesis contains even a grain of truth, we may be glimpsing a literal memory of beings who descended and gave humanity its first taste of structured civilization. From this point, the prism names the first king, Alulim, whose reign of 28,800 years is longer than all of recorded history combined. In Eridu, the first city, kingship touched the earth, and a new chapter of existence began. Alulim stands at the dawn of this narrative. Unlike later kings, no grand epics or hymns celebrate his deeds. The clay prism records only his name, his city, and the immense span of his years. Yet, in this stark simplicity lies his significance. He is remembered not for specific actions, but for being the primordial vessel of kingship itself. In his person, rulership was transformed from a human concept into a heavenly institution. The length of his rule defies all logical comprehension: 28 millennia, an epoch that surpasses the entirety of our known historical timeline. If we are to take this number literally, Alulim could not have been an ordinary man. Was he divine? Was he one of the Anunnaki? Or is he a symbol for an entire age, A personification of the beginning of time? The tablet offers no explanation. It simply states the fact. Yet the pattern is undeniably clear. The numbers assigned to these early kings are not haphazard inflations but exact multiples of the Sa. 8 for Alulim, 10 for Alalgar, 12 for Enmenlawana. This precision implies intent. For the Sumerians, these were not fairy tale numbers. They were measures of cosmic order, lifespans synchronized with the rhythm of the heavens. To imagine the world of Alulim is to picture a planet just awakening to civilization. Marshlands stretched to the horizon, the first canals were cut into the soft earth, and reed boats moved silently under the sun. At the heart of it all, a temple rose from mud brick, its altars smoking with offerings to the god Enki. And presiding over this nascent world was the first king, a figure who did not age as his subjects did, whose presence provided a constant, living link to the divine. For the people, this was tangible proof that their social order was eternal, a gift from the gods, not a creation of mortal hands. This is likely why the king list begins with him. To the scribes of Sumer, Alulim was more than a name. He was the symbol of civilization itself, the one who transformed scattered tribes into a cohesive city, chaos into sacred order. By placing him first, the tablets declare that kingship was, from its inception, a cosmic and divine force, a descent from the celestial realm. His reign marked not mere centuries, but entire epochs, and though his end is not described, his position is unequivocal. He is the threshold, the first entry in a chronicle that would stretch through 7 more kings across 241,200 years, until the flood washed it all away.